Okay, so we will call to order the February 13th regular meeting of the Board of Finance. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, do we have any public comments? No public comments. Dion, do we have any correspondence?
No, I'm
No
sorry.
correspondence, okay. We need to approve the minutes from the special meeting of Tuesday, January 9th.
Move to approve the comments?
Do we have a moment?
Certainly. Do we have a second?
I second it.
All those in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Aye.
All those against? Right, unanimous. We have two items on the agenda for the regular meeting, the consideration of the Briar Cliff Pump Station and the water main extension project. I believe First Selectman will give us some background on those items.
I will. Dion has gone into the other room to get the numbers, but let me just briefly explain what this is. These are two pass-through items that originated with the Public Utilities Commission, Briar Cliff Pump Station, and the water main extension projects. These are projects that are underway currently, and the reason that they're in front of you for approval is that they are eligible for low-interest loans from the Department of Public Health. And even though things that come from the Public Utilities Commission don't involve taxpayer funds in any way, they are paid from the revenue funds that are generated by the utilities themselves, because they are of a certain dollar level, they are treated the same way because the Public Utilities Commission is borrowing money using the full faith and credit of the town of Bethel. So it's treated as if it's the same thing as if you were approving taxpayer funds. So this was approved by the Public Utilities Commission, forwarded to the Board of Selectmen for approval. Thank you. And then this would go to you, and then finally this would go to a special town meeting, which is scheduled for the 27th of February. So there's the two items. Number one, Briar Cliff Pump Station, which is, you probably know where it is. It's the small neighborhood that is up off of Nashville Road. This is an amount not to exceed $862,637, of which $814,892 is construction costs, legal fees in the amount of $7,000, and then a 5% contingency, or $40,745. So this, again, this funding comes from the Department of Public Health.
Can you repeat those figures, because we don't have anything in writing? Could you just repeat those figures?
Sure.
Thanks.
Okay, first number, the total cost, so this is the total not to exceed cost,
Yeah.
862,637. And then below that, the breakout is construction costs of 814,892. Legal and administrative costs of 7,000, and a total project contingency of 40,745.
And just so that we're all on the same page, those numbers are actually in the motion, which is part of the
Yeah.
agenda.
So then you can do both motions. I'll just touch on the water main extension. These are, I think there's 6 streets that will be, PUC will be replacing, or is actually in the process of replacing aging water mains. This is part of the overall upgrade project that we've been working on with the utility department for the last 5 years. This eligible costs for reimbursement through the low interest loan program, state of Connecticut. The not to exceed number is $977,830. with construction costs of $924,600, legal fees estimated at $7,000, and a total project contingency of 5%, and that amount is $46,230. So again, just to reiterate, this has to be approved via special town meeting, but again, it does not involve taxpayer funds. It is 100% funded through the utility department billings. So, any other questions? Okay?
I just need to explain to me about, I know we've been through this with the public utilities. So it's paid from revenue, right? Paid through revenue from the water bills. And you're saying that that's what pays for this.
Correct.
But you want to approve a loan, is the motion in here, because I haven't seen it?
The chairman has a motion.
Oh, okay. So the motion is to apply for this low-interest loan? Yeah,
Yep.
I'm just confused, because if it's paid for out of the water rates,
Yeah.
then how does that square with the low-interest loan?
Can I impose upon the town attorney?
What it, excuse me, what it is very simply that, in order for the state of Connecticut to give the water department in Bethel the low-cost loans, they require that it be backed by the town of Bethel. They won't accept just the PUC's word that it's gonna be taken care of. Also, and we ran into this a few years ago, there was a time where the municipal water department, along with the sewer department, could bond their own money. They have since taken that out of the statute. So the only way that we can borrow money, in essence, and that's what this is. This is a request to allow the Public Utilities Commission to borrow money. And what we want to do is we want to go through the state of Connecticut's loan program. But if that doesn't happen, we'll go elsewhere, that's all.
No, I understand now, I understand what you're saying. So it's kind of like a swing loan, not really. But it's like the public utilities are paying but based on the town procuring the money with those low rates.
Correct.
Well, I'm sorry, is it the town or is it the utility
That's-
that will?
I don't think the
Utilities pay
town
the
is
town, right?
securing the money, it's the PUC that will eventually get
Yeah.
the money.
Well, yeah, no.
No, they'll get
If
the
you,
money.
I haven't seen that motion, but I'm assuming what it says is that, it doesn't say that the money's going to come directly from the state of Connecticut. I think what it says is that you're authorized to borrow,
Correct.
based on what's available. Hopefully, it'll be the state of Connecticut's loan. It's been pretty good.
Bond anticipatory
Right.
notes, loans, temporary
Correct.
borrowing, and/or any other appropriation recommended by the controller.
Is there any way to get that motion? I'm surprised that we don't have a copy of it, that only two people can look at it.
Well, typically, wouldn't somebody make a motion here at the meeting?
To have a motion in front of us?
Will
Yeah,
somebody
well,
make?
somebody's going to make the motion.
Right.
Somebody's going to second the motion, so it
Yeah,
would be.
is it
for
possible just to
discussion,
get copies
even.
of this?
Well,
This is-
yes, but like Wendy said, most of the time the person makes the motion, and
Understand.
then, but
Understand.
And then-
yes, I can go make
That would be
copies.
awesome, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, just,
Sure.
just so everyone here knows, this is the type of motion that we've made many, many times in the past. It's the same exact thing. It's for the PUC. I mean, it started way back when we had the tank, we had the Eureka tank approved, and there were other projects too, several projects that we had approved. Hoyts Hill Pumping Station went through this, several of them did. And it's all the same thing. And I think at the end of the motion, you're gonna read that hopefully it's on there, if it's not, you can certainly add it, that the payment for this loan will be by the water account users of the Public Utilities Commission.
That is clear.
And that'll be in
Call of the
the
town
call of
meeting as well?
the town meeting as well, will be part of the motion.
Well, I've not been on the Board of Finance when all those other things occurred, so that is why I would like to see the motion.
I think there was a couple.
Yeah,
Were
we had
you
a
on when
couple.
we had the referendum on the tank? Or was that before you were here?
That was before my time.
But it was a similar thing. This is,
I'm sure it's similar.
yeah, it's just town meeting instead of a referendum because it's below $1 million for each of the two projects.
It is the fourth one.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, to continue the progress of the meeting,
Mhm.
I will read a motion. We'll need a second, and then we can have discussion.
Okay?
Seeing that they're two separate projects,
Mhm.
we'll read each motion individually, vote on it individually. Okay. The first motion is, I make a motion to consider and take action upon a recommendation by the Public Utilities Commission and approved by the Board of Selectmen to fund an amount not to exceed $862,637 for improvements to the water system for the project referred to and known as the Briar Cliff Pump Station and Water Main Extension Project. Said sum includes the construction costs of $814,892, legal fees and other estimated administrative costs of $7,000, and a total project contingency of 5% in the amount of $40,745. Said funding shall come from bonding, bond anticipatory notes, loans, temporary borrowing, and/or other appropriation as recommended by the comptroller to be reduced by any available grants obtained by the town of Bethel and/or the Bethel Public Utilities Commission, if any. Payment of the appropriated sums shall be made by the water account users of the Bethel Public Utilities Commission. Is there a second for that motion?
I second the motion.
Okay. And discussion.
Where else would they get them? I mean, what if it was voted down? I know it's never been done. Just a question, where would you go to get that money?
It's a very good question.
You want me to answer that?
We'd have to raise the rates probably, but go ahead.
Ironically,
Just a question.
if say there was a choice or we get to a town meeting and it was not approved, the Public Utilities Commission would have to pay for this out of its own funds. And if it didn't have enough funds to cover it, the balance would come directly from the general fund, from the town side. And it wouldn't go through this board. That's how the utility department got itself almost $3 million in debt years ago, is that shortfalls from the utilities accounts are just simply pulled from the general fund, and they show up in your comprehensive annual report as an asset to the general fund. So the best possible thing to do is approve this so the money can be borrowed and keep all of the costs within the Public Utilities Commission.
This is a question. I remember that actually. So
Mhm.
this is the motion.
Is there any understanding of the impact this additional debt will mean to the typical user?
You mean to the,
Financially?
to the
The
water?
bills are gonna go up because
To
they're
the
paying-
water users?
Correct.
Well, this is anticipated. We've put a rate structure in place over we're into year number 2 of a 5-year rate plan that incorporates this debt. This is not a surprise. This is part of a 20-year capital improvement plan, so we have the debt cost programmed in and we know where we need to be. So we're actually doing 2 things at once. We're funding the needed improvements and we're also still paying off the debt that I just mentioned a minute ago. There's still a few $100,000 in debt, which is not bad because 7 years ago that was $1.9 million on the water side alone. So we're almost there. So the rates have gone up to cover those
So
things.
this is already baked into that
Correct.
long-term plan?
Yep, that's correct.
Just
We have a new policy now, no surprises.
I just want to make sure it's clear here that, I just want to let you know, Ms. McCorkadale, that you were present at the August 9, 2016 Board of Finance meeting when they approved similar type project for the Hoyts Hill Pump Station and also for the Maple Avenue Wells project.
Are you tracking me?
No,
Mark?
I'm not. I had this because I figured the
Okay.
subjects
Fair
of prior
enough.
things might be coming up.
Any more discussion of the motion?
Nope.
Okay. We will vote. Dion, I made the motion, Robert seconded.
All right.
All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. All right, on to the second motion. I'll make the second motion. Make a motion to consider and take action upon a recommendation by the Public Utilities Commission and approved by the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Finance to fund an amount not to exceed $977,830 for improvements to the water system for the project referred to and known as the Water Main Replacement Project. Said sum includes the construction costs of $924,600, legal fees and other estimated administrative costs of $7,000, and a total project contingency of 5% in the amount of $46,230. Said funding shall come from bonding, bond anticipatory notes, loans, temporary borrowing, and/or appropriation as recommended by the comptroller to be reduced by any available grants obtained by the town of Bethel and/or the Bethel Public Utilities Commission, if any. Payment of the appropriated sums shall be made by the water account users of the Bethel Public Utilities Commission. Is there a second for the motion?
I'll second that.
Okay. Deanne, you've got the primaries over there. Discussion of the motion? Okay, hearing none, let's vote. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those against? Unanimous.
Thank you very much.
Last topic on the Board of Finance agenda is the comptroller's report. Bob?
I handed out the tablet just prior to the start of the meeting, and I just want to give you an update on the monthly report. Numbers increased for the current month's activity. Doesn't look like there's any surprises in there at all. And well, I think you can use this as a tool when you're looking over the budgets and trying to get an idea where the different departments and individual items are in line with, and plan for the following year. So that's about it.
Are there any immediate questions?
If there are none, then I'd make a motion to adjourn this, so we can move on to the presentations.
Second? All those in favor of adjourning the Board of Finance meeting, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Who seconded that? You?
All those not in favor? Unanimous. Meeting is closed.
Now you open up the next one.
So, yeah, you should terminate that recording and then send a new one for the